There is a moment in every supermarket, usually somewhere between 4:30 and closing time, when a member of staff appears with a little handheld gun and the prices start to fall. Most shoppers walk straight past it without a second glance, but a quiet army of pensioners has learned to be standing in exactly the right aisle at exactly the right minute, and they walk out with £40 of shopping for under a tenner. The supermarkets would honestly rather you never worked this out. Number 9 on this list is something they actively try to keep out of sight, and number 2 can genuinely halve your weekly food bill. Before we start, do hit that subscribe button, because what you are about to learn could save you real money. Let us count down the 25 secret yellow sticker tricks. Number 25. Learn to actually read the sticker. That little yellow label is not just a sign that something is cheap. It tells a story if you know how to listen. The original price is printed on it, the new price is printed on it, and the gap between the two is your whole game. A pack knocked down from £3 to £2.20 is not worth bending over for. The same pack knocked down to 40p is treasure. Beginners grab anything yellow in a panic. Experts do the maths in their head in 2 seconds flat. The trick is to train your eye to spot the percentage, not the colour. Once you can glance at a shelf and instantly see which stickers are real bargains and which are token gestures, you have already overtaken 90% of the shoppers around you. Number 24. Know where the reduced shelf actually lives. Every store has one, but they hide it differently. In some Morrisons, it is a chiller cabinet near the back wall by the butcher's counter. In Tesco, it can be a trolley parked at the end of an aisle or a dedicated section tucked beside the meat. In the co-op, it is often a small basket near the till. The supermarkets do not advertise it because they want you wandering past the full price displays first. Your job on your very first visit is to find that spot and remember it forever. Once you know exactly where the magic happens, you can march straight to it the moment you walk through the doors, before the early birds have cleared it out. Geography is half the battle. Number 23. Hit the bakery in the late afternoon. Bread, rolls, donuts, and crusty bloomers are baked fresh on the day and legally cannot be sold the next morning as fresh. So from around 4 o'clock onwards, the bakery section starts collapsing in price. A tiger loaf that was £1.20 in the morning can be 20p by tea time. Crusty cobs, croissants, iced buns, all of it tumbles. And here is the clever bit your nan knew. Bread freezes beautifully. Buy 6 reduced loaves, slice them if they are not already, bung them in the freezer, and toast straight from frozen for weeks. A pensioner who never pays full price for bread again can save £100 a year on that one product alone. The bakery is the gentlest place to start your yellow sticker education. Number 22. The reduced fruit and veg are not rubbish. Supermarkets reduce produce the moment it stops looking picture perfect, not the moment it stops being edible. A bag of slightly soft tomatoes, a bunch of speckled bananas, a head of broccoli with one yellowing floret. All of it gets a yellow sticker while it is still perfectly good. Soft tomatoes make a better sauce than firm ones. Speckled bananas are sweeter and ideal for a loaf cake or the freezer. Bruise off one bad bit and the rest of the pepper is fine. Our grandmothers never expected vegetables to be flawless because they grew their own and knew what real food looked like. We have been trained to demand perfection and then pay through the nose for it. The reduced veg section is where that nonsense ends. Number 21. Befriend the wonky range. Most of the big chains now run a deliberately imperfect range. The misshapen carrots, the curved cucumbers, the knobbly potatoes, sold for a fraction of the standard price. These are not yellow stickered as such, they are permanently cheap, but they sit alongside your reduced finds and follow the same logic. A wonky vegetable tastes identical to a straight one. It was rejected purely for its looks, which is one of the silliest things the modern food industry ever invented. Combine a bag of wonky veg with a yellow stickered joint of meat, and you have the bones of a proper Sunday dinner for the price of a coffee. The supermarkets created the wonky range because shoppers finally pushed back. Use it relentlessly. Number 20. Damaged packaging is your friend. A tin with a dent, a cereal box that has been crushed at one corner, a multi-pack with the outer film torn. All of these get reduced, even though the food inside is completely untouched. The contents do not care that the box is bent. As long as a tin is not actually punctured or bulging, what is inside is exactly the same as the pristine one next to it at full price. Staff are often glad to slap a sticker on damaged stock just to move it. Some sharp-eyed shoppers will even politely point out a damaged item at the till and ask if there is anything to be done on the price. 9 times out of 10 there is. A dent has never once spoiled a tin of beans. Number 19. Do not forget the flowers and the plants. This one catches people out because they only think about food. But cut flowers, potted herbs, bedding plants and house plants all get reduced hard when they start to look tired, especially on a Sunday afternoon. A bunch of tulips marked down to 30 pence will perk up overnight in a vase of cold water with a splash of sugar. A drooping basil plant on the windowsill recovers in a day with a good drink. For a pensioner who likes a bit of colour in the house but cannot justify £3.50 on flowers, the reduced plant trolley is a small weekly joy that costs almost nothing. Beauty on a budget was a skill our grandmothers had in spades. Number 18. First pattern break. Here is where it gets serious, because this next one changes everything. Learn the difference between use by and best before. This single piece of knowledge is worth more than all the others combined. Use by is a safety date, mostly on meat, fish and dairy, and you should respect it, though a freezer pauses the clock entirely. But best before is simply a quality date. It is the manufacturer saying the food is at its peak until then. After that date, a tin of soup, a packet of biscuits, a bag of pasta, a jar of sauce is still perfectly safe to eat for weeks, months, sometimes years. Supermarkets reduce best before items savagely as the date approaches, then bin them the day after, throwing away mountains of good food. Once you understand that best before is a suggestion and not a deadline, half the bin gets thrown open to you. Number 17. The first markdown happens earlier than you think. Most people imagine all the reductions happen at the last minute. They do not. Many stores do a first wave of small reductions in the morning, often somewhere between 9:30 and midday, knocking 10 or 20% off short-dated stock. The discounts are modest at this stage, but the choice is enormous because nobody has touched it yet. A morning shopper sees the full spread laid out, picks the best quality items, and accepts a smaller saving in exchange for first pick. An evening shopper gets bigger savings but slimmer pickings. Knowing that the day has more than one reduction window lets you choose which game you want to play. Quality in the morning or rock-bottom prices at night. Number 16. Second pattern break. The markdowns come in waves, and this is the secret rhythm. A single product can be reduced 2 or even 3 times in a single day as the staff come back round and drop it further each time. Something stickered at lunchtime for half price might be down to a quarter by late afternoon, and to almost nothing just before close. The waves are why patience pays. If you spot a reduced joint of beef at 3 o'clock that is only 20% off, you can gamble that it will still be there at 6 for 70% off, though you risk someone else taking it. This push and pull, this judging of whether to grab now or hold your nerve, is the chess match that separates the casual bargain hunter from the true yellow sticker veteran. Number 15. The golden hour is just before closing. This is the one everybody half knows, but few do properly. In the final hour before a store shuts, anything that legally cannot be sold tomorrow has to go, so the deepest cuts of the day land then. Meat, fish, ready meals, sandwiches, fresh cream cakes all collapse to pennies. The catch is that you are competing with every other late hunter, and the shelves are picked clean fast. The pensioners who win the golden hour are organised. They know the closing time of their store, they arrive 40 minutes before it, and they head straight for the chillers. Turning up at 9 for an 8 o'clock close gets you nothing but empty shelves. Timing, as always, is everything. Number 14. Sundays close early, so the bargains come early too. Because of trading laws, most large supermarkets shut at 4 or 5 on a Sunday rather than late into the night. And that means the closing time markdowns get pulled forward by hours. The deep reductions that would normally land at 8 on a weekday can appear at 2 or 3 on a Sunday afternoon. A canny shopper who cannot face the late-night crowds simply does their big yellow sticker shop on a Sunday lunchtime instead, when the discounts are already steep and the aisles are calmer. Lots of people miss this entirely because they assume Sunday is too quiet to bother. In fact, it is one of the very best windows in the whole week. Number 13. Bank holidays are a goldmine. Whenever a long weekend or a public holiday is coming, supermarkets are terrified of being left with stock they cannot shift while the store sits closed for a day. So in the run-up, particularly the evening before a bank holiday closure, they slash prices on everything perishable far harder than usual. Easter, Christmas, the August bank holiday, all of them create a glut of desperate reductions. The evening before Christmas Eve closing is legendary among bargain hunters, with whole trolleys of meat and party food going for almost nothing. Mark these dates in your diary and plan around them. The supermarket's fear of waste over a holiday is your single biggest opportunity of the season. Number 12. The little express and local stores play a different game. The small convenience versions of the big chains, the Tesco Express, the Sainsbury's Local, the Co-op on the corner, reduce their stock too, but on a different rhythm to the giant superstores. They carry less, they turn it over faster, and they often reduce in the early evening to clear the day's fresh sandwiches and chilled meals. Because fewer dedicated hunters bother with the small shops, the competition is far gentler. A pensioner with a little express round the corner can stroll in at the right time and have the reduced shelf almost to themselves. Do not assume only the big out-of-town superstores are worth the trip. Sometimes the quiet corner shop is the kindest place to find a sticker. Number 11. Every chain has its own clock, so learn yours. This is the foundation that makes all the timing tricks work. Tesco, Asda, Morrisons, Sainsbury's, Lidl, Aldi, the Co-op. They all reduce at different times of day, and even individual branches of the same chain vary depending on their manager and their closing time. There is no single magic hour that works everywhere. The only way to crack your local store is to watch it. Pop in at different times for a week or two, notice when the staff appear with the gun, and build a mental timetable. Once you know that your Morrisons does its big drop at 6:30, or your Co-op clears its chiller at 7, you stop wandering hopefully and start arriving deliberately. Knowledge of your own store beats every general rule of thumb. Number 10. Just ask the staff. It sounds almost too simple, but it is astonishing how few people do it. The person stacking the shelves knows exactly when the next markdown is due, what is about to be reduced, and sometimes whether there is more in the back. A polite question, asked with a smile, will very often get you a straight answer. When do you usually do your reductions, love? Is that joint about to come down? Most shop workers are perfectly happy to tell you because they would rather see good food go to a grateful customer than into the waste bin. Over time, the regulars who are friendly and patient build a quiet rapport with the staff, and rapport is worth more than any trick. Kindness, it turns out, is the cheapest discount of all. Number 9. Third pattern break. Now here is the one they really would rather you did not know. The reductions do not always make it to the shop floor straight away. A lot of the marking down happens out the back, in the warehouse and the chillers, before the stock is even wheeled out. And there is often a quiet window, a few minutes long, where a member of staff brings out a fresh trolley of newly stickered goods and parks it while they restock the shelf. The shoppers who know this hover near the chiller doors at the right time and get first pick of the trolley before a single item reaches the official reduced section. The supermarkets do not love this because they would rather drip feed the bargains slowly. But a patient hunter who positions themselves well can intercept the very best stock the moment it appears. Number 8. The freezer is your secret weapon. This is the trick that turns a yellow sticker from a single cheap meal into weeks of savings. Reduced meat, fish, bread, and even milk and cheese can all go straight into the freezer the moment you get home, pausing the clock completely. That joint of lamb marked down to £2 on its use-by date is perfectly safe to freeze that same day and roast in 3 months' time. A pensioner with a decent freezer can stockpile every meat bargain they ever find and never pay full price for protein again. Our grandmothers understood preserving instinctively, salting, potting, and jarring everything they could. The modern freezer is simply the easiest version of that same old wisdom. A full freezer of yellow sticker meat is money in the bank. Number 7. Buy reduced meat for batch cooking. The freezer holds raw bargains, but the real magic happens when you cook them up in bulk. A few packs of reduced mince become a giant pot of bolognese, chili and cottage pie, portioned out and frozen flat in bags. A reduced chicken becomes a roast, then sandwiches, then a soup from the carcass, 3 meals from one bird. A cheap shin of beef, the kind that needs hours but costs almost nothing reduced, becomes a stew that feeds a family for days. This is exactly how our grandmothers stretched a shilling, turning the cheapest, toughest cuts into the most comforting meals. Combine a yellow sticker with a slow cooker and a free afternoon, and you produce restaurant-worthy food for pennies a portion. Bargain shopping and batch cooking are two halves of the same skill. Number 6. Stack your loyalty card on top. Here is where you double up your saving. Reduced items still earn loyalty points and still qualify for cardholder prices in most stores. So a club card, a Nectar card, or a co-op membership applied to a yellow sticker bargain layers one discount on top of another. Better still, those points and vouchers build up and come back to you later as money off, which means your reductions are quietly funding future shops. Far too many people grab the sticker and forget to scan the card, leaving free money on the table. The supermarkets are perfectly happy for you to forget. Always, always scan your loyalty card on your reduced shop. It costs you nothing and it compounds your saving every single time. Number 5. Fourth pattern break. The bargains have gone digital, and most pensioners have never been told. There are now apps that let you buy a mystery bag of a shop's surplus food for a couple of pounds at the end of the day, food that would otherwise be binned. Bakeries, cafes, and some supermarkets all take part. You reserve and pay on your phone, then pop in at the agreed time and collect a bag stuffed with far more than you paid for. For someone who finds the late-night scrum at the reduced shelf a bit much, this is a calmer, surer way to get the same bargains. A grandchild can set the whole thing up on a phone in 5 minutes. The technology is new, but the principle is ancient. Good food, going spare, going cheap, going to someone who will appreciate it. Number 4. Mind your manners at the reduced shelf. This one is about etiquette, and it matters more than you would think. There is an unspoken code among yellow sticker hunters. You do not barge, you do not snatch from someone's hand, and you do not clear the entire shelf into your trolley out of pure greed. Take what you will genuinely use, leave some for the next person, and you keep the whole thing pleasant. The regulars who behave well are the ones the staff warm to, the ones who get the friendly tip-off about when the trolley is coming out. The greedy grabber who hoovers up everything earns nothing but glares and a cold shoulder. Generosity and good grace, the very things our grandparents prized, turn out to be a genuine bargain hunting advantage. Be the shopper people are glad to see. Number 3. Hold out for the final markdown. The very last reduction of the day is the deep one. The 70, 80, sometimes 90% off that makes the whole exercise worthwhile. This is when a £4 ready meal becomes 40 pence and a tray of steaks costs less than a chocolate bar. The final markdown is the supermarket's last desperate attempt to recover anything at all before the food becomes waste they have to pay to dispose of. To catch it, you have to know your store's closing time precisely and be willing to wait, watching the shelf, judging the moment. It is a gamble because someone else may take your prize while you hold your nerve. But for the patient hunter who times it right, the final markdown is the single most profitable minute of the entire week. Number 2. Plan your whole shop around the stickers, not the other way round. This is the big shift in thinking that halves a food bill, just as I promised at the start. Most people decide what they want to eat, write a list, and then pay whatever it costs. The true yellow sticker shopper does the opposite. They turn up with an open mind and let the reduced shelf decide the week's menu. Found a cheap chicken and some marked down veg? That is Sunday sorted. A tray of fish for pennies? Friday is settled. Instead of forcing the shop to provide a fixed list at full price, you build your meals around whatever happened to be discounted that day. This flexibility, this willingness to cook with what you find, is exactly how a household survived on rations and thrift for generations. Stop shopping with a rigid list. Start shopping with open eyes. Number 1. The real secret is that time is the currency. Every single trick on this list comes down to one quiet truth. The supermarkets bet that you are too busy, too rushed, and too proud to wait for the markdown. so they charge you full price for your impatience. The pensioner who has a little time and is not embarrassed to use it beats them at their own game every day of the week. Time to learn the store's rhythm. Time to wait for the final reduction. Time to freeze, to batch cook, to ask a friendly question, to come back tomorrow. That patience, that refusal to be hurried, that pride in a bargain well earned, is the thing the supermarkets can never package and sell. It is the oldest wisdom there is. The person who is not in a rush will never be overcharged. So, there you have it, the 25 yellow sticker tricks the supermarkets would rather keep quiet. Pick just one this week. Find your store's reduction time, raid the bakery, or fill your freezer with reduced meat and see how much you save. Then come back and tell me in the comments which trick worked best for you. Your nan knew how to stretch a shilling. Now you do too.